Namaskar, good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha television. I am Smriti Rastogi with News Tonight. Let's begin the bulletin with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Nepalese counterpart Oli inaugurate integrated checkpost at Jogbani, Biratnagar. Prime Minister assures India will continue to play a role of trusted partner in Nepal's development. Reviews India-assisted reconstruction projects under which 45,000 houses have been built for Nepal's earthquake victims. Regional Composite Economic Partnership should take care of the interests of all parties, says Union Minister Piyush Goyal at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Asserts that business will not be determined by diplomacy. Government will not withdraw Citizenship Amendment Act, says Union Home Minister Amit Shah, addressing a public meeting in Lucknow in support of the CAA. Challenges opposition parties for a debate on the provisions of the law. Institutes of higher education should promote research and innovation, says Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu. Tells students to work for the betterment of environment at Vikram Simhapuri University in Nellore, Andhra Pradesh. And nomination process ends for Delhi Assembly election. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal files papers from New Delhi seat. BJP fields Sunil Yadav against him. Voting to be held on 8th of February for 70 seats in the state. Our top focus this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Nepalese counterpart KP Sharma Oli jointly inaugurated the second integrated checkpost at Jogbani, Biratnagar along the Indo-Nepalese border on Tuesday via video conferencing. Built with India's assistance, the integrated checkpost is spread over 260 acres and is capable of handling 500 trucks on a daily basis. The 140 crore rupees project will improve trade and people-to-people contact. Inaugurating the project, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, India is committed to simplifying and easing traffic with all friendly countries in the neighborhood.
हमारे देशों के बीच सीमा के प्रमुख स्थानों पर इंटीग्रेटेड चेकपोस्ट आपसी व्यापार और आवागमन को बहुत सुविधाजनक बना रही है। एक्सेलेंसी, आईसीपी बनाने के प्रथम चरण में हमने बीरगंज और बिराटनगर में आईसीपी के विकास का निर्णय लिया था। बीरगंज की आईसीपी का हमने 2018 में उद्घाटन किया और अब बिराटनगर में भी आईसीपी का शुरू हो जाना हम सब के लिए बहुत हर्ष का विषय है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also reiterated India's commitment towards housing reconstruction projects in Nepal following the devastating earthquake in 2015. He said out of the commitment to build 50,000 houses in Gorkha and Nuwakot districts, 45,000 have already been completed.
कोलिशन फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिलिएंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को लॉन्च करने में भारत का उद्देश्य इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर प्राकृतिक आपदाओं के प्रभाव को कम करना है। यह बहुत संतोष का विषय है कि भारत नेपाल सहयोग के अंतर्गत 50,000 में से 45,000 घरों का निर्माण हो चुका है। हमारी आशा है कि बाकी घरों का निर्माण भी शीघ्र पूरा होगा।
The Nepalese Prime Minister thanked India for the support and extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi to visit his country.
Close friendship and understanding between political leaders and peoples have nurtured our friendly ties. Moreover, timely completion of development projects, especially those providing a direct benefit to the peoples, has added a momentum to our relationship. We need to continue our close cooperative relationship and partnership in the days ahead for the benefit of our two countries and people.
Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said India is working on more equitable terms in its trade relationships with various countries. Speaking at the World Economic Forum annual meeting 2020 in Davos, Goyal called for greater cooperation among nations to realize the huge growth prospects in the Indian Ocean region. Referring to India's withdrawal from the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, Goyal said that trade cannot be dictated by diplomacy. Goyal said that India is committed to safeguarding the interests of its people while welcoming investors from across the world. Addressing the Strategic Outlook session on the Indian Ocean Rim, Piyush Goyal said that India has contributed the least to global warming but is still being very responsible on fossil fuels.
Robust framework available in the RCEP discussions, it was very difficult for India to commit ourselves to that kind of a regional comprehensive economic partnership. I think for the first time, India has demonstrated that trade will not be dictated by diplomacy. Trade has to stand on its own legs. Trade has to be fair. And diplomacy will take care of itself through diplomatic channels.
Some more developments. Addressing a rally in Lucknow in support of the CAA, Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the law will not be scrapped. Shah targeted the opposition for misleading people on the act and said that there is no provision in the amended law for taking anyone's citizenship away. He also challenged opposition leaders to hold a discussion with him on the CAA at a public forum.
राहुल बाबा कान खोल कर सुन लो, आपकी पार्टी के पाप के कारण धर्म के आधार पर भारत मां के दो टुकड़े हो गए। 16 जुलाई 1947 कांग्रेस पार्टी ने प्रस्ताव कर विभाजन को स्वीकार कर लिया। धर्म के आधार पर विभाजन को स्वीकार किया। जो विरोध कर रहे हैं उनको कि ये जहां 23% थे वहां 3% बच गए, सिर्फ 3%, और जहां 30% थे वहां पर सिर्फ 7% बच गए। कहां गए लोग? कहां गए मेरे वो भाई? हिंदू, सिख, बौद्ध, जैन, पारसी, क्रिश्चियन कहां गए? या तो मार दिए गए या तो धर्म परिवर्तन कर दिया गया। लखनऊ की भूमि से डंके की चोट पर कहने आया हूं, जिसको विरोध करना है वो कर दे, सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल वापिस नहीं होने वाला।
The 2021 census will be the first census to be conducted with a mobile app. The Home Ministry has said this. The app has been created in-house by the Registrar General of India Office. The Home Ministry also said that the facility would be provided for online self-enumeration for the public during the population enumeration phase. The Home Ministry said that the confidentiality of the data is guaranteed by Census Act 1948, along with a penalty for both public and census officials for non-compliance or violation of any provision of the Act. The ministry on Friday had organized a half-day conference of the state chief secretaries and union territory administrators on Census 2021. The Home Ministry has approved the creation of 2,000 posts in the CISF. The move is aimed to boost its strength to effectively guard vital installations, including airports, atomic installations, metro networks, etc. With the sanctioned posts, from constables to the inspector level, the CISF can raise 2 more battalions with 1,000 personnel each within the next 2 years. The government is also all set to hand over the security-related duties at Srinagar and Jammu airports to the CISF by the end of this month. The Central Industrial Security Force guards about 60 civil airports in the country and has an elite VVIP security wing under its command called the Special Security Group. Union Electronics and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad inaugurated the second edition of the NIC Tech Conclave on Tuesday. Addressing the conclave, Prasad said that the digital India should mean technology from the classes to technology for the masses. He added that digital India is designed to empower ordinary Indians with the power of technology and also to bridge the digital divide and bring about digital inclusion. He further said that technology has become the biggest enabler for governance, which is transformational in character. He expressed hope that India is capable of becoming a big center of data refining and asked the National Informatics Center to work towards this.
Financial inclusion, supplementing digital inclusion is going to be the roadmap for future. And by financial inclusion, I mean, in my postal department, we have a huge network of postal services across the country. Now, my postal payment bank has been launched with the involvement of the postman, the banking correspondent, and the open source available. How, on one mobile, we can have services of all the banks available. That is my ambition for India.
The Supreme Court will hear a fresh pleas of telecom firms seeking to reschedule of payment of statutory dues to the government next week. This after the top telecom companies, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone Idea and Tata Teleservices moved the Supreme Court seeking modification in the top court's verdict in the adjusted gross revenue issue on Monday. The plea was moved days after the Apex Court rejected telecom companies' review petitions in the AGR case and directed them to pay pending AGR dues of nearly 1.47 lakh crore rupees to the government by January 23rd. With this plea, the telecom companies are seeking an extension of January 23rd deadline to pay revenue dues. And India's mega international science exhibition Vigyan Samagam kicked off in the national capital on Tuesday. Inaugurating the exhibition, the Union Minister of State for Atomic Energy and Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh, said that exhibitions should be organized with focus on educating the young students so that they can choose science as a career in future. The exhibition is showcasing projects from world-renowned scientific organizations like CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, India-based Neutrino Observatory, LIGO Lab, etc. The 30-meter telescope, the world's largest optical observatory, is one of the major attractions at the exhibition. The exhibition is being jointly organized by the Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Science and Technology, and the National Council of Science Museums.
जिस प्रकार अंतरिक्ष में उपलब्धियां हुई हैं उससे देश का बच्चा वाकिफ़ है। उन सबको जनमानस तक पहुंचाना, उनको समझना और विशेषकर जो युवा पीढ़ी है वो उसकी जानकारी प्राप्त भी कर पाए और अपने आप को प्रेरित भी कर पाए और अपने अंदर उस जिज्ञासा के माध्यम से ये भी समझ पाएँ कि किस विज्ञान के किस क्षेत्र में उनकी रुचि है, उनका एप्टीट्यूड है, ताकि उसमें वो शोध कर सकें, उसे अपना सकें।
So in a very short period of time, from the outside of India, we see India is making great progress. It's not a surprise to me because India has a very large population and therefore it has potentially a huge reservoir of brain power, and this is your natural resource which you deploy. Economy is growing very quickly in India.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday addressed the convocation of Vikrama-Simhapuri University in Andhra Pradesh's Nellore city, stressing on the need for improving the quality of teaching and research in institutions. The Vice President called upon the universities to change the existing education policy. He asked educational institutions to include India's culture, heritage and the rich history with life stories of the great men and women who shaped our nation.
The quality of teaching and research at present in many of the universities in the country is lagging behind compared to developed countries. This is evident from the ranking of Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2018. None of the Indian universities have figured among the top 100. This underscores the imperative need to reorient the education system and improve the standards of teaching in our institutions of higher education. Education system should not only be focused on academic excellence, but develop the students into holistic individuals. The education policy must also focus on teaching India's culture, heritage and rich history and life stories of the great men and women who shaped this great nation.
Expressing concern over the low public expenditure on research and development in the country, Naidu urged private sector to collaborate with universities to invest more in research, development and skill training. Pointing out the adverse events of climate change and global warming, the Vice President spoke about the devastating bushfires in Australia recently. He urged university to involve students in campaigns for the protection of the environment.
Research and development in India is not up to the expectation. We must focus more on that. USA, Israel, Japan and Korea and even China, they are moving ahead. India's expenditure R&D has almost stagnated. One important reason for this is the negligible share of the private sector in the investment and research and development. So I appeal to the private sector to join the research also in a big way. Nature, culture, together for better future. You take care of the nature, nature will take care of you. Sun, moon, water, light, air, land, all are lovable things, but we are not taking care of them. That's why they are fury, sometimes cyclone, sometimes tsunami, sometimes flood, sometimes drought. This is the weakness in our system. We must take care of that. Love and live with the nature.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu appealed to the students to remain physically fit by taking active interest in yoga and sports. Vice President was interacting with students of Akshara Vidyalaya in Nellore on Tuesday. He asked children to practice yoga and undertake regular physical activity, including sports of games, to stay fit. Naidu also advised children to eat healthy and nutritious food.
So physical fitness gives you mental fitness. And if you are physically fit, mentally you will be alert. So you have to go to a ground, do jogging, walking, running or playing. Any sport of your choice.
Stressing the need for protecting Telugu, he suggested educational institutions to teach students about the culture, traditions and literature of the language right from the young days. He, along with HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, went around the campus and saw various skill development activities undertaken by the institute. And now all the news from the upcoming Delhi elections. Nomination process for Delhi's 70-member assembly concluded on Tuesday. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal filed his nomination from the New Delhi seat on the last day. Voting will take place on 8th of February.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal filed his nomination from the New Delhi Assembly constituency on Tuesday. Formed after reorganization by Delimitation Commission in 2008, the New Delhi Assembly seat is considered the most high-profile seat in the 70-member Assembly. Kejriwal is seeking re-election from here for the third time. In the 2013 Assembly polls, Kejriwal made a stunning electoral debut by defeating Delhi's three-time Congress Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit. He retained the seat in 2015 by defeating the Congress and the BJP candidates.
तो इन सारी पार्टियों का एक ही मकसद है कि किस तरह से केजरीवाल को हराया जाए और मेरा एक ही मकसद है कि किस तरह से भ्रष्टाचार को हराया जाए और दिल्ली को आगे बढ़ाया जाए.
The opposition BJP and Congress have fielded party workers against Kejriwal.
मेरा और केजरीवाल का मुकाबला लोकल वर्सेस बाहर का. वो शीला दीक्षित को सिर्फ एक चैलेंज देके यहाँ पे आए थे जो वो सक्सेसफुल रहे, लेकिन वहाँ बनने के बाद इस क्षेत्र में कभी रहे नहीं. नई दिल्ली विधानसभा में उनको रहना चाहिए था तो वो सिविल लाइन पे जाके उन्होंने घर ले लिया. तो यहाँ पे जाने के लिए लोगों को 200 रुपये लगते हैं उनके पास पहुँचने के लिए, समस्या बताने के लिए, उनसे अपॉइंटमेंट लेने के लिए. जो यहाँ के लोकल समस्या, लोकल आदमी है, उसको किसी चीफ मिनिस्टर की जरूरत नहीं है. अभी उसको लोकल एमएलए की जरूरत है जो उनके बीच में रह के उनके डे टू डे रूटीन के काम करता रहे.
वो आउटसाइडर है, उसने कोई काम नहीं किया. उसने सिर्फ सरकारी कर्मचारियों को गालियां दी हैं, हमें करप्ट बोला है, हमारे खिलाफ लोकपाल बिल की बात करी है. हमारे माँ बाप करप्ट नहीं है, हमारे माँ बाप देश की सेवा करते हैं.
Delhi is witnessing a three-cornered contest with candidates from AAP, BJP and the Congress in the fray. While the BJP is fighting the election in alliance with the Janata Dal United and the Lok Janshakti Party, the Congress is contesting in alliance with the RJD. With inputs from Anu Devan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And news now from Jammu and Kashmir, where 2 terrorists were killed and a soldier along with a special police officer were martyred after an encounter broke out between the terrorists and the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama district on Tuesday. The encounter broke out in the district's Crave area, where the security forces had launched a search operation following a tip-off. International developments. China is racing against time to contain the spread of a new virus that has left at least 6 people dead ahead of the Lunar New Year celebrations that attracts millions of people back to their homeland. The novel coronavirus has infected almost 300 people, with most cases reported in Wuhan. That later spread to Beijing, Shanghai and Guangdong. Wuhan has announced a series of new measures to tackle the spread of the disease, including cancellation of the upcoming Lunar New Year celebrations.
The novel coronavirus is spreading its deadly tentacles in China and abroad. All of the fatalities have been in Wuhan, the central Chinese city which has detected most cases of pneumonia caused by the new coronavirus. After originating in a seafood market in Wuhan, the outbreak is now spreading. Chinese news agency Xinhua reported as of 6 p.m. on 20th January that 224 cases of pneumonia caused by the 2019 NCOV have been reported. 217 cases have been confirmed, out of which 198 cases have been from Wuhan. 14 cases have been reported in Guangdong province, 5 in Beijing. 15 medical workers have also tested positive for the virus, according to the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission. 4 cases have also been confirmed overseas among Chinese travelers, 1 in Japan, 2 in Thailand and 1 in South Korea.
See, the coronavirus, to the best of our knowledge, there are 6 coronaviruses. This one would be the 7th, which reported few months back in China. The symptoms are just like your flu type symptoms with fever and respiratory symptoms, breathlessness, etc. Now few more cases are reported from other countries also, like Japan, Korea.
Common signs of infection include respiratory symptoms, fever, cough, shortness of breath and breathing difficulties. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, kidney failure and even death. The World Health Organization said that its China country office was informed of cases of pneumonia of unknown etiology detected in Wuhan city on 31st December. A novel coronavirus was identified as the causative virus by the Chinese authorities on 7th January. On 10th January, the WHO published a set of guidelines for all countries. This includes monitoring for sick people, testing samples, treatment and control of virus, and communicating with the public about this new virus. The WHO has also convened an emergency meeting this week to discuss the spread of the Wuhan virus.
中方将会应世卫组织的邀请，与其他受疫情影响的国家一道，参加国际卫生条例突发事件委员会会议，与会各国世卫组织以及有关的专家，将在会上分享疫情信息，并对疫情进行科学研判。
With the Lunar New Year approaching, the Chinese government is taking all measures for prevention and control of the new strain of the coronavirus. Chinese President Xi Jinping has instructed government departments to promptly release information on the virus and make all-out efforts to treat patients.
我这里能告诉你的是，就是为了应对武汉肺炎疫情，中方采取了严密的措施，也做了全面的部署。我们将坚决遏制疫情蔓延的势头。中方愿意继续深化国际合作，与国际社会携手应对疫情，共同维护地区和全球的卫生安全。
Zhong Nanshan, the head of the National Health Commission of China, confirmed that the new coronavirus spreads by human-to-human transmission. However, he tried to allay fears of a rerun of the severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS outbreak that killed nearly 800 people across the world and was caused by a coronavirus, though a different strain.
Everybody who has ever dealt with SARS or MERS, for that matter, know that the critical issue in controlling a coronavirus novel emerging pathogen epidemic is to make sure that the super spreading events that we've seen during SARS at Ward 8A, Prince of Wales Hospital, Amoy Gardens, or MERS in, say, the Seoul Hospital. So it is absolutely critical that public health authorities recognize a super spreading event in the very earliest stages before it goes absolutely explosive.
Concerned about a global outbreak similar to SARS, many countries have adopted screening measures for travelers arriving from China, especially those from Wuhan. Australia, Japan, and South Korea have increased airport screenings. At least 3 US airports have started screening of incoming airline passengers from central China. With human-to-human transmission confirmed, the Chinese government is scrambling to control the spread of the coronavirus that is threatening to spread further and turn into an epidemic during the Lunar New Year rush when millions travel back home to China for the holiday. With inputs from Kunal Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's talk about the environment and climate change. Agriculture is largely affected by climate change, putting food security at risk across the globe. Farmers are already dealing with the effects of a warmer world. Crop yields are affected, soils are being degraded, and the occurrence of extreme weather events is increasing. Adaptation and smart agriculture are crucial to deal with such factors in a way that they do not affect food security. Center for Tropical Agriculture and scientists from Colombia have created an open access data set which is used mainly for agricultural research, specifically on crops that are significant to food security and incomes such as rice, coffee, cocoa and maize. It has already been used in 186 countries to create adaptation strategies for agriculture. And that's all we have for you in this edition. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.